Hi, Marcel, the Wood Butcher. Today's broadcast, or not broadcast, but video, I guess, is about how to keep track of the projects you're making, and if it's a project that you think or probably will make more than once, how to keep track of it and the cuttings that you had to do the first time to produce it. And I just want to show you my method. There are probably other people that use different methods and this and that, but this is the way I do it. Okay? Let's see, since I am still, pardon my fat hand, since I'm still on, yeah, okay. Anyway, the first thing I use is an array of methods. Okay? There's a 3-ring binder. There's manila envelopes. There are woods that are the component pieces are rubber banded together with the drawing. And then there's always my buddy, the smiling face, when things come right. I'm going to go through these step by step with you of how I keep track. And how you choose to do it is completely up to you. All right, wait a minute. I think I just put this friggin' thing upside down. Is that better? Did I make you dizzy? A friend of mine advised me that since I am still a one-man show using the friggin' cell phone to make the videos, is to change it to landscape, the long way, instead of the portrait up and down. And I'm trying it. But it doesn't look like the field of view is as good as I need until I can afford better video equipment. I even activated the grid system on the video. But anyway, let's start with I get an idea of something to make. The first thing I do is I run to the trusty graph paper, and I put it into a 3-ring binder called Wood Projects. It's a small 3-ring binder right now. I mean, I would love to have this all in like a 6-inch binder and probably 20 of them. I'll get there eventually. Then when we open the binder up, you'll see that there's blank graph paper there and drawings of a project that I'm currently working on. Okay? Everything I do ends up in this binder. It is my memory bank. Okay? The next thing I'll do is if it's something that I make a lot of, which are birdhouses and feeders. I mean, that's what I'm into doing because basically, I'm learning a new technique here, holding the phone a different way, right? Because the one thing I really, really take seriously is wildlife and animals. I will regretfully admit, up until about maybe 18, 19 years ago, I was a hunter. But I mostly only did bow hunting. And I was out there for deer and bear, turkey, and yes, even squirrels with a bow. And I managed to harvest. But I just couldn't do it anymore. And my inner feelings turned to helping the wildlife and animals instead. That's when we started adopting pets and stuff like that. But that's a different show. That's a different channel. That's whatever. Okay. The next thing I use for stuff I was talking about, like there's one particular model birdhouse that I make a lot of. So what I do is I have them in a manila envelope with the part number, the type of birds they'll attract, which this particular size, which seems to be the most popular in the area I live in, are wrens, chickadees, nuthatches, nesting boxes. Okay, and you see I gave it a part number. Inside this are actual templates and drawings for that particular thing. I'll open it up and show you how we do this. I'm going to have to put the phone down a second. So, again, in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail, I'll be right back. Well, I'm going to leave frame while I open this up. Take a look at that beautiful ceiling while I'm doing this, okay? Okay, here we go. Here we go. Okay, we're done. Okay. Sorry about the fat fingers. Like I said, this is a new format for me and the things. But what I have in here is, first of all, the actual dimensional drawings for this particular type of house. This is all what's in this folder. Then I have a piece of Marlite that's cut, that is the floor. What I call the security entrance. Oh, there we go. Opening guard. And you'll notice there's part numbers on all of these. Well, most of them. Then I have the front of the birdhouse, where the hole is. You can see it's measured well. Then I have the roof for this particular birdhouse. Then I have the 2 sides. And you can see, this is really, really thin stock. It's only about 1/8 of an inch thick, but it's Marlite. So, you know, and all I use it for is to mark out pencil markings on the wood I'm cutting. And then I have the back. Now, the back is longer than the other pieces because it's got to be higher by about 6 inches than the birdhouse itself, so that it can be attached properly. Okay? That's one method I use for stuff that I make mostly all the time. I probably have about 7 of these manila folder or manila envelopes for the different types of birdhouses that I make. The next method I use is for stuff I don't make as often, but really like making them because they make great gifts and stuff like that, are for crosses or crucifixes, whichever your faith wants to call them. But I do them in like a 3-dimensional thing. So here's the packet. There's my pre-cut wood. So all I have to do is mark, and the drawing, to make sure I get it right, is rubber banded right to the project piece. Here's another one that's basically, it's the same cross or same type of cross, but a different size. So again, and you'll notice something here. This one has the dark wood in the middle. That's what I do with the other crosses as well. It's just that I didn't bother to color that piece, right? And again, the drawing is right there, has all the specs on it, so that whenever I want to make one of these things, all I do is take the rubber bands off, mark the stock I'm going to make it out of, and cut away. And then there's a birdhouse that I am just in the process of actually designing, and so because it's still in the design stage, it's not completely in my book yet. I have 3 prototypes made, but I'm not 100% happy with how they came out, except for using, the rubber bands are slipping on me, excuse me, except for using this set of molds, I guess you could call them, or templates, right? And again, the drawing is there. If it's in red, if my drawings are in red, that means it's still in the development stage. And not to say that the ones that that the ones that I've made won't work. They could be improved. And I never, ever throw these away. This is how, how I keep it. Because when I make something for the second time or third time, 10th time, 20th time, I don't sit there with a tape measure and actually waste the time to measure it out, on a piece of wood. I take these templates, lay them on the wood, draw them out. It also allows for you to calculate when you go let me get the backlight out of the way. When you go to buy lumber to manufacture your stuff, or if you're using repurposed lumber, how many board feet you actually need to complete 5, 10, 1, 2, And some advice is, if you have an item that people like, when you make one, make 10. You have them in stock. You don't have to stop what you're doing and somebody says, "Oh, I love that cross. Can you make me one?" Yeah, I can make you one. So this way, you just go to your shelf, pull it off, and hand it to them and take their $15, $20, whatever. Okay? So just some advice. Keep track of your projects. Keep notes on anything, even if it's something that you only made one time. Trust me, somebody in the future is going to come to you and say, "Well, I saw this idea," and you can come back and say, "Well, you know something? I made something for somebody a couple of years ago, and I just happened to have the drawings on it. Let's take a look and see." Oh, and pictures of the finished product. And let's see if this will work for you, or maybe we can modify it a little bit. But you're not reinventing the wheel. You're saving time, which is valuable, because most of us woodworkers, we end up labor time is almost impossible to calculate, to add into the, to a project, because it's, especially if you're custom making something with just a verbal description from the client. It takes time. Sometimes you can charge for that, sometimes you can't. That's up to you. Okay, that's it for right now. Marcel, the Wood Butcher. Have a good day. Bye.